Hi everyone, this is the Spud Squad, and we'll be presenting our data story on a Tater's Tale, which depicts the journey of a potato from farm to table. One thing to note here before we get started is that we have our mascot here on the bottom left called Spuddy the Potato Buddy, and every time you click on him, he'll give you some type of advice, tips, maybe a joke about the data story. So we start our data story about potatoes from the perspective of a producer here. We talk about how potatoes are very environmentally friendly compared to other vegetables and other food types here. And if you click on Spuddy, he gives you a little bit of advice about how you can hover over each cloud and you can see the specific amount of greenhouse gas emissions that are being produced by the food type. We then talk about how producers, most popularly grown different types of potatoes here. You can see that russet potatoes are definitely the most popular type of potato that farmers like to grow. And then we take a bit of an economic perspective of how profitable potatoes are. You can tell that there's certain states such as Wisconsin where it's very expensive to plant, and yet they still derive a small amount of profit. But other states like Idaho, it's very cheap for them to plant these potatoes, but they produce a larger profit here. One thing to note here is that this is a brushing and linking map, so you can kind of draw a bounding box and highlight specific states you want to look at. And a little fun fact break here we have is about the Idaho potato truck. This is a real truck that drives around the country carrying a huge potato on its back. You can click on different circles here to get cool fun facts about the truck itself. And then the last thing we have about potatoes from the producer perspective is about location. We can see, based on the shading of the map, where potatoes are most popularly grown. You can see there's a huge concentration in the Northwest. And Spuddy has maybe a little bit of a bias towards Idaho because it has a lot of potatoes. So that's kind of it for producers, and then we kind of take a look about how potatoes are very beneficial from the perspective of a consumer, and we start that out by illustrating how cost efficient potatoes are. We can see that potatoes are very affordable and cost efficient compared to other types of vegetables, and you can kind of filter this based on the amount of money you want to look at this by. We also talk about how potatoes are most commonly consumed by consumers here, or in terms of popularity. So you can see here that French fries, mashed potatoes, and baked potatoes are all very popular amongst potato consumers. And then we take a deeper dive into the most popular potato dishes that we just looked at in the pie chart here. You can click on each individual image to get a more detailed description of the individual potato dish. And then we take a deeper dive into a specific type of potato dish, which are potato chips. And we illustrate the sales data by brand here. You can see that Lay's are definitely the most popular type of potato chip. And Spuddy has maybe a little bit of beef with how much there are in the potato chip bags. Finally, we highlight the nutrition information about potatoes. You can see that compared to other sources of carbs, they are very nutritious in terms of potassium, vitamin C, fiber, and they do so while being a low source of calories, which means that for many consumers, potatoes are very nutritious while being a low source of calories. And so we wrap all this up with something we took a little bit of inspiration from Spotify Wrapped we call ours Potatoes Wrap, and it gives you highlights of big pieces of information that we wanted to deliver to you throughout this data story. And that's all to say that as environmentally friendly, as delicious, and as popular as potatoes are, consumers should get out there and buy more potatoes.